We already talked about the NFL a little bit, but there's been some new developments. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. And on top of that, there's a couple of pieces of news that we just want to talk about from around the sports world. Let's get into it. And we're back with another episode of the one and only Allied Rivals podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know you're tuning in. My name is AJ Herschel, also known as The Kid, and we are here with my man, Cade Munn Bauer, just getting right into it. How you doing, man?
I am doing amazing. Got a lot of snow here.
Yeah.
I love snow.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't, but
it's about time. Illinois, we didn't get a white Christmas this year. Not really, but now it's finally starting to come down.
Here we go. Yeah.
Yep.
How about you?
Good. I mean, the younger kids get to do snow angels and stuff, and the rest of us do driveways. But other than that, it's nice to look at. It's pretty outside, and I mean, this is kind of what we expected. I was not expecting for us in Illinois to get snow in October and then just get like nothing till January. Like that just makes no sense to me, but okay. Also, 2021, we are in a new year, believe it or not. How was your
Happy New Year?
Did you do anything?
Trying to think. Yeah, I guess I went to a wedding, so that was cool.
Nice.
But I guess New Year's Eve, we just stayed up till New Year's.
Nice.
And that's how it works.
Okay. Did you stay up like all the way, like to 1, 2, 3, or like hit midnight and then it was bedtime?
Yeah, I kind of stayed up till like around 1.
Okay. Yeah. Same here. Pretty much the same here. Yeah, that's what we did. But yep, it's time. Sorry, go ahead.
We got a comment here already.
Already.
Fielder Gaming, Cademan is king.
Ooh.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
AJ is the kid.
Yep.
All right. What's up, man?
All right. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know what you think about the NFL and everything that's going on. Before we get into the actual playoffs, there's a couple pieces of news that have broken. Cademan, we'll just go ahead and take care of the one that I think is going to be closest to you. David Bakhtiar is out for the season. Suffered a knee injury in practice. That's a big blow to a Packers offensive line, who I thought was the best in the league. Immediate thoughts. What do you think? Is this going to be okay? How is this going to affect the Packers O-line through the playoffs?
It's probably going to hurt. I mean, we're playing the Bears defensive line this week, so that'll be kind of a big test, honestly. But I mean, Elton Jenkins will probably just move over to Bakhtiari's spot. We'll get a replacement for Jenkins. He's really Jenkins is really great, move him around all the time. So hoping that won't be too bad since we still have a really good offensive line. That's gonna hurt some probably since we're playing like the Bears with a better pass rush, or maybe other teams in the playoffs later, like say the Rams or I don't know, Saints maybe. But hopefully it won't be too big a deal because we still have a good O-line.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, you still got Lindsley, you still got Jenkins, and I mean, Rick Wagner's had a very good year as well. Yeah. I think this week is going to be a really big test to see how it's going to work out because, like you said, it doesn't get any easier with the rest of the season games. Leonard Floyd is having a renaissance in his career. The Saints have had one of the best pass rushes over the last 8 weeks. I think they lead in quarterback hits over the last 8 to go to the end of the season. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jason Pierre-Paul is playing like he's 25 years old. So this is definitely going to be a big test for the Packers offensive line going into this week. Another piece of NFL news, Tua Tagovailoa is going to be without his relief pitcher, Ryan Fitzpatrick, who Miami needed a little bit of Fitz magic to knock off the Raiders over the next week. Brian Flores, the Dolphins coach, came out and said, hey, if we need a relief pitcher in the 9th inning, we're going to use him. Now, in baseball terms, your bullpen is out. So what do you think Tua is going to be able to log all 9 innings against Buffalo? Let's just jump right into it.
I mean, Buffalo has a good defense. And so and Tua hasn't always played great against those, especially in the past few weeks against even the average defense. So this is going to be a big test for him. And I mean, if they lose, they may not be in the playoffs. So everyone's looking at Tua right now. I'm worried about him because it seems like Fitzpatrick was better, and while Tua may be better to start with, maybe he's just having a couple off games or something.
Mm-hmm.
Fitzpatrick is seemingly just as he used to be. Maybe not quite as he may be past his prime. I don't know.
Oh, he definitely is, but
he's still great.
Inexplicably, somehow.
Yeah. I mean, he takes over and he throws for double the amount of yards Tua did in less time, he's good.
He is.
Tua's going to need to work some magic here.
He absolutely is. He needs a little bit of that Fitz magic from Ryan. I don't know how Tua is going to do. The Buffalo defense at the beginning of the year was not good. We all know that. And then they got demoralized when Derrick Henry posterized Josh Norman for all of eternity by stiff-arming him into next season. But now Tua's had a rough time. He didn't do terribly against the Raiders, but under 100 yards passing, barely 100 all-purpose yards through 3.5 quarters. New England Patriots, that's just a tough game. Belichick's always tough on rookie quarterbacks, and it's not like he's been playing easy teams recently either. Patriots, Chiefs, these are tough defenses.
Yeah.
But the Bills are fighting for a number 2 spot. They win, and they're locked in. They have not announced they're sitting anyone. Josh Allen looks like he's a go. Singletary, Moss are a go. No diggity, no doubt. Looking for a league lead in receiving yards this year.
Yep.
Also looking like he's going to be able to play. Do you think the Dolphins are going to take down the Bills?
I mean, I said they would. I think they will. But
really?
Of course, that could change. I thought Fitzpatrick would be playing. This is going to be a really close game because – I mean, it all depends on Tua to me because Miami secondary, in my opinion, is the best in the league. And they can take down every quarterback. We saw them pick off Patrick Mahomes 3 times. So they can pretty much make it hard on any offense or at least any passing offense. But right now, to me, it's all on Tua. If he has a big first half, I think the Miami Dolphins can take this one. If he's not doing much, they don't really have anyone else to go to, so that's kind of a problem, and I don't see them winning if Tua doesn't have a big game unless they somehow can get their run game going big, which I don't see happening necessarily. But AJ, what do you think?
This is the thing. Myles Gaskin is when he's healthy, he's finally off the COVID list, won me a 3rd place in fantasy. Thank you, sir. I think Myles Gaskin could have a good game against Buffalo. I think he's going to be the key. He's a great pass catcher out of the backfield. He's a good runner. I think it's really going to come down to how well he performs as well as Tua, because Tua's got to game manage this game. Because you put the ball in Josh Allen's hands, he is going to make you pay. Yes, he had his little 3-game struggle midway through the year. Now the Bills are destroying everybody. Their defense is woken up. Diggs has turned from Adam Thielen's sidekick to one of the best receivers in the league. Josh Allen, he's more accurate than he's ever been. He's a better game manager than he's ever been. And the Bills are having fun. They are destroying teams and they're having fun. Tampa is going to have an uphill battle. Brian Flores is going to have an uphill battle. And I thought they were still going to get in even if they lost. But now with a new piece of news, I'm not so sure anymore because Cademan, Mason Rudolph is going to be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And on top of that, Cameron Hayward isn't going to play. TJ Watt isn't going to play. On top of that, Marquise Pouncey, their starting center, isn't going to play. And Joe Hayden is now on the COVID list. The Steelers are resting everybody for their first playoff round. So now their defense is not going to have everybody going. Their offensive line is losing arguably the best center in football this week. And Mason Rudolph is at quarterback for a showdown of him versus the last time he got smacked in the head with a helmet. Do you think the Browns take it? Do you think Baker? Do you think Chubb? What do you think? Will the Browns be able to hang?
It's almost like the Steelers are just wanting, I mean, they're probably not going to get the 2 seed. I mean, they would if the Bills lost, but I don't think they're too worried about that. I think they're just ready to let the Browns win. They don't need the one more win to get the first seed. Chiefs have already clinched that.
Mm-hmm.
So they just don't want to get anyone injured. Can they win it? I'm sure they can. I mean, Juju is maybe starting to wake up or something. I've always liked Chase Claypool. I don't know. They still have a lot of talent, no matter how many starters they're going to sit. But they don't really care. Mason Rudolph may want a win for his record. I don't know. I think this one could go either way. I like the Browns. I think they're fine. The Steelers have proved to be okay in the past couple games, great in the past couple games after their 3-game losing streak or whatever it was. I don't know, AJ. I don't know.
Yeah, I think now I'm projecting. I think the Browns win this now. I'm going to be honest. I think Myles Garrett's going to have a good game. And look, the Steelers, Big Ben is still a very good quarterback. He's old, but he's a very good quarterback. And now they have no run game at all. Connor hasn't been able to find anything. It's literally throw it 40 times to get down the field and then maybe punch it at the goal line. They're throwing it short absolutely all the time. Yeah, this game could be very boring. I am not excited to see what's going to happen for Pittsburgh. And even if they do lose, we could see a rematch between the two of them in the playoffs, this time with Big Ben and everybody else. The Steelers receivers are great. Mason Rudolph, he's on and off. He's iffy, but I just do not see the Browns losing this game. They've got their wide receivers back. You've got probably the best active duo in football with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. You've got your round back, your passing back, and now Baker Mayfield's coming back with everybody healthy. I don't see the Browns losing this. I'm going to be honest. I think they're going to go all out and they're going to try to make finally make a playoff game. Even though the last 20 years have been absolutely horrible. I think 2020 might be the year, even though it's moved into 2021, might be the year the Browns, 2020-2021 season might be the year the Browns actually finally make the playoffs. Crazy. We have a comment from Lightning Bauer who brings up the fact that Paul Westphal died. He did at 70 years old, played for the Phoenix Suns, NBA Hall of Famer. Yes, he was absolutely a very good coach. If I remember, at USC, if I'm correct about that, was one of his big ones. Coach of the Suns, Supersonics. That's a big loss for the sports world. They've had a lot of losses this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see.
Moving on to the next one, we have other AFC one here. This might be a little iffy. The last time we talked about it, we were like Colts. Okay, can we agree the Colts are going to beat the Jaguars? Probably. I feel like Jonathan Taylor's going to have a field. Jonathan Taylor's going to have a field day. But
Jonathan Taylor's been blowing up the past few weeks. It's been exciting.
Mm-hmm. But the interesting thing is the Titans are going up against the Texans in Houston. And while we all want to discount the Texans immediately, their year is lost. They have no Will Fuller. Deshaun Watson has been pulling his weight recently. They have dropped, I don't even know what it is anymore, 4 straight games. They've dropped 4 straight games, 2 to Indianapolis, got obliterated by Chicago, and then lost to the Cincinnati Bengals and Brandon Allen. But as we all know, division rivalry games are tough. And the last time these teams played, it had to go to overtime for Tennessee to be able to beat Houston. Do you think there is a chance? Do you think Deshaun Watson and Brandon Cooks and David Johnson having a renaissance in his career, especially late in the season, will be able to take out the Tennessee Titans and put them on the chopping block?
I would like to see them do that because Deshaun Watson has had arguably the best season of his career. But he's just been amazing. Like you said, David Johnson, Brandon Cooks, all those guys on the offense have done a really good job. Even the offensive line has looked better this year, so that Deshaun doesn't have to panic run as much. Finally. But their defense is always the big question. And the Titans have one of the best offenses in the league with Derrick Henry. You got Ryan Tannehill to A.J. Brown or Corey Davis, and they can obliterate most defenses. I don't see the Texans being able to slow down Derrick Henry or Ryan Tannehill, honestly, on this one. I think the only way, if the Texans win this one, it would have to be an insanely high-scoring game, I think, in my opinion, because I don't see the Texans being able to slow down the Titans' offense. What do you think, AJ?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback. I loved him when he came out of high school, when he came out of college, out of Clemson. When he dropped to 10, I was like, that's a steal. That was a steal for Houston. And I just really don't think that they're going to be able to beat the Titans, though. And to be fair, they've said even if the Texans are up by 50, they aren't taking Deshaun Watson out. They're going to let him finish his season and play it out. Tennessee is going to be mad. They got embarrassed in Green Bay last week. They really want to win the division. They really want a playoff spot. And I think Derrick Henry is going to have a field day against a mediocre Houston defense. And this time, guess what? They don't have to play in the snow. They get to play in a dome. I think this game goes to the Titans. I think you're right. Deshaun is going to have to absolutely air it out. The Titans defense has not been the picture of consistency this year, to be sure. But it's still, I just don't see the Titans failing after last week. I think they're going to bring this one home.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to pull up Porter Drinks.
There he is, our man.
In a tight game. Sorry, just had to throw that in. No, all good, man. AJ, you got anything on that? IU in a tight game?
Yeah, somehow inexplicably the Ole Miss Rebels were winning at halftime 13-3, and even though I was watching the game, I was still wondering how it happened. But the Hoosiers have stormed back 17 second half points. Is currently tied 20-20 with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I'm pulling for IU in this one, man. I'm going for the Hoosiers, man. I'm going for the Hoosiers.
Tough game.
I hope they pull it out, dude. I hope they pull it out. And for sure, we got it sometime this week. We'll definitely come out with a predictions video for Alabama, Ohio State as well. So be sure to be on the look at that for the national championship. Got a couple more questions before we wrap up. These are all focused on the NFC instead. First of all, it has been announced Alex Smith is planning to start for the Washington football team this week against Jalen Hurts and the rising Philadelphia Eagles. What do you think this changes, Caveman? I went on record last time saying that if Alex Smith starts, Washington wins and they get a playoff spot. What do you think? Do you think that with Smith at the helm, they'll overcome Philly?
I'm in full agreement that with you that I think they will win now that Alex Smith is said to be playing. He says he's playing. Coach says he's playing. He's going to play. I think they're going to win this one. Their offense hasn't been great, but you got Terry McLaurin, who's always out there, and he's a monster. Big help to Alex Smith, and you can get the run game going with Washington too if McLaurin has a big game. So I'm gonna say because and Washington also has a really, especially like the second half of the season, they've had a really good defense. It's been really consistent. Been really hard to do a lot against. This could be Washington's win. I mean, they're playing the Eagles too. I mean, Jalen Hurts. I like the guy. He seems like he's pretty good. He can run, he can throw. He's a really good quarterback, and he's been a good replacement for Carson Wentz, in my opinion. But I don't know. They're out of the playoffs. I mean, they could play spoiler. I think Alex Smith is going to finally take one. What do you think, AJ?
I think it's time for the Washington football team to finally get themselves into the playoffs. I love Alex Smith. He was going to win Comeback Player of the Year once he stepped on that field. We already knew that, but he's coming out and decided, you know what? I'm not just going to win it. I'm going to earn it. He's 4-1 as Washington starter. He had 4 straight wins against good teams too. San Francisco has a good defense. Pittsburgh has a great defense. They got wins against them. Antonio Gibson is a very good, underrated running back in the NFL, especially in a Washington team that for half the year had a mediocre offensive line. Their teams pulled it together. Jalen Hurts is electric. I will give him that. every day of the week. I've watched the dude since he played at Alabama. He's a great dual threat quarterback. He can throw on the run as well, and he's a great scrambler out of the pocket, but he's going to be scrambling an awful lot against Washington. And Washington, they game manage. They don't let you score a bunch of points. They don't score a bunch of points, but they get enough points to get the job done. That is Washington's mentality the entire year. I think Ron Rivera will outcoach Doug Peterson, who might get an extension also after the end of this year. He's in talks to extend his contract with Philadelphia. I think this is the year the Washington football team makes it. If they lose, I said it's Dallas, but as soon as I heard Alex Smith is in, I have full confidence the football team is going to make the playoffs this year at 7-9.
And this is the NFC East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Speaking of Washington, though, one of the big things that happened, Dwayne Haskins actually got cut in his second season alone. What was your reaction to that?
Oh, boy. I feel bad for the guy. And, I mean, they had the right to do it. He kind of messed things up last week or whatever, so I don't know. What are you gonna do?
I feel bad for Dwayne Haskins to some extent. I wasn't a fan of the draft choice when Washington took him. I thought he was a little bit inexperienced when they took him out. But he still could have been a solid prospect. I think the biggest thing was he just had a horrible start in Washington. His first year had no offensive line, literally only Terry McLaurin. It was a brutal year in Washington. I don't attribute that much to his fault, but this year the team is finally clicking. He came in, had one good relief game, but then you have the problems off the field. You have the problems in the locker room. And at this point, he's fallen down to the third string quarterback. And when Taylor Heineke outperforms you in an NFL game, I think I think it was finally time, which is everything that was going on. Maybe he finds a backup role with another place, but I think the off the field issues might just be a big problem for him in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him. I mean, there was nothing else really they could do, but I mean, he'll probably find something else. Maybe he just hasn't been able to get it going or on the field or whatever. Dwayne Haskins has not finished his NFL career. I don't think so. I could see him going somewhere like the 49ers.
Interesting.
Or just some team that needs to – they could raise a quarterback. They could do it right, you know?
Yeah.
Or even Patriots. Because Cam may be done. Hey, that's another question.
I don't know. I don't know if Belichick's gonna allow that though. You know, he has a specific culture he likes with his team.
Yeah. Hey, but speaking of that, AJ, do you think Cam Newton's career is over?
I don't think it's over.
No.
I don't think so. I mean, at the very least, I think he'll be a backup somewhere. At the very least, this is still a solid guy who's been in the league for a decent amount of years. He's not back in his MVP form, of course not. But New England had a lot more problems than just him. First of all, their wide receiver core is decimated. They had Julian Edelman, rookie N'Keal Harry. They were throwing – Jacoby Myers came out this year. But if you look at their studs, half of these guys are going to be a third, fourth string wide receiver on a lot of other teams. That's, I think, the first problem. Second problem is the run game was very inconsistent this year. Everybody this year was banged up. Rex Burkhead, Sony Michel was out from day one. Damian Harris has been questionable. Cam Newton certainly has not been performing great as nearly as much as he was in the first few games of the season. Of course not. And I mean, for the 1 year, $7 million contract they gave him, I think this is kind of what we expected. Did decent, had a couple bad games, but the Patriots have a lot more problems than just Cam.
Yeah, I mean, terrible thing is he has like a one passing touchdown to two interception ratio. And I think that just kills Belichick because, I mean, even though Tom Brady was never throwing the fewest interceptions in the league, he was a conservative guy with the ball at least. Right. And
a good game manager.
We all know the difference between Cam Newton and Tom Brady, even by this year. But I don't think he's going to stay with the Patriots. Definitely, I could maybe see him going as a backup somewhere else. I'd like to see him kind of become a Taysom Hill guy, where he can do his gadget plays and do some more running, maybe.
Like a Jacoby Brissett type guy with the Colts come in on goal line plays. Because that 15 of his touchdowns are rushing touchdowns. So overall, he's doubled his interception ratio, technically speaking.
Yeah. I mean, I think if some coach in the NFL had the nerve to take him, I think it would be really cool if he became kind of like a gadget player with any title, honestly, QB, wide receiver. Agreed. He could be a tight end. Yeah. I mean, with his size, he's a big guy. I don't know. Cam's career could be over. I wouldn't be surprised.
Think it is. I don't think it is. Right. Especially in an evolving NFL. Like you just said, Taysom Hill, Jacoby Brissett, these are guys who are starting to add renaissances to the league in gadget plays. And Cam Newton is a very good running quarterback, especially on the goal line. I feel like someone's going to find a use for him, especially compared to another guy who's just had a rough season, Dwayne Haskins, where he's not even good enough right now to be the third-string quarterback in Washington. There's no way Cam's career is done, I think.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Two more questions, then we'll wrap it up. We'll be all done after that. First of all, the New Orleans Saints don't have any running backs. Alvin Kamara landed himself in the COVID list, and today Latavius Murray and all of the other backup running backs were declared close contacts. So, Cademan, we might see Taysom Hill taking handoffs from Drew Brees the entire game. Will the Saints be able to bring home a win against Carolina?
Yeah, okay, this is going to be easy game. Carolina is probably the worst team, or one of the worst teams in the NFC.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
What's their record, like 5-11 or something?
They are 5-11, yeah. But you want to call them like the Giants, the Lions, the Falcons?
One of the worst teams. I mean, I said one of the worst.
Okay.
I mean, I'd say the Falcons are worse. Mm-hmm. They have, like, no defense.
4-11 this year, yeah.
Yeah,
even though let's be fair. Raheem Morris took a 1-5 team and went an 0-5 team and has gone 4-4 with the exact same roster. So he's done extremely well. The defense is a lot better than it used to be fair. But they still got pushed by Tampa.
I mean, they haven't had an easy schedule. Carolina hasn't. But they're just not good. And I mean, they have a great passing game with Teddy Bridgewater, Robbie Anderson, and
DJ Moore,
and
even Curtis Samuel. He's been a crazy gadget guy this year for them.
Yep, gadget guy. I was just gonna say, but when you compare them to the Saints, and even if they don't have a running game, Drew Brees or Taysom Hill, and they have a defense that's, I mean, probably top 7 in the league, maybe. Mm-hmm. So. I don't know, AJ. I don't see the Saints losing this even without all the running game. You can have Taysom Hill run it, but Drew Brees could take this game, get like a 400-yard passing game. Mm-hmm. I could really see that happening. I could also see a kind of slightly low-scoring game just because, I mean, the Panthers are I think one of the worst red zone teams or something like that. And the Saints without a running game, I mean, give it to Alvin Kamara was kind of one of their best options before, but I don't see the Saints losing this.
Yeah, I mean, losing arguably the best running back in football is going to hurt any team. Kamara's been insane. He gave everybody a Christmas present with those 6 touchdowns, which is absolutely incredible. I think this is the best possible thing that could happen to New Orleans, and here's why. Brees has not done well in his last 2 weeks. 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Granted, it was a Kamara game, but 2 interceptions, no touchdowns against the Vikings. And then against the Kansas City Chiefs, he threw touchdown interception ratio 3-1, not bad, but he was wildly inaccurate throughout that entire game. This is the best thing that can happen to Brees. He doesn't have a running game to rely on. We finally get to see him in action. He gets an entire game to prove how this is a warm-up game for him. For him, this is his warm-up before the playoffs. I think he needs this. I think he needs to get himself back in position, back in shape to be ready to go and face whoever gets thrown at him, whether it's the Bears, Cardinals, Bucks. I think Drew Brees needed this game. This is the best thing that could happen to the New Orleans Saints, in my opinion. And we're going to finish with one last question. Also a quarterback question. This time, the Rams are losing Jared Goff thanks to his broken, dislocated finger hand problem.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mind
is
if I take
bad.
this?
Go ahead. I mean, you know the stakes. The Rams lose. They're on the chopping block. They win. They're in. Can the Rams overcome the loss of Jared Goff?
The Rams have a great defense, and we know that. It's just gotten better over the season. But they've really had to rely on Jared Goff in a lot of games. And who's their backup, AJ?
It is Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles.
Or that's who they got off of waivers. Their other quarterback is John Walford, who played in the AAF, which lasted for 8
That's right. Yeah. I don't care what it is. Darrell Henderson Jr. has been great this season. And if they can't get the passing game going too much, hand off the ball. I mean, the Cardinals defense, or the Cardinals as a whole, the past few weeks just haven't been as good. I honestly don't see the Rams losing this. Even without Jared Goff.
Interesting. That's good news for me because I need the Rams to win for the Bears to get in the playoffs. I think this isn't the end of the world. I think it really depends on how well. First of all, John Walford picked up the system. He had a good year in the AAF. Tossed 14 touchdowns, led the league. And granted, the AAF isn't the NFL or wasn't the NFL, but still, it's still football. It's still competition. I'm very curious to see what happens to the running game, though, because I believe Cam Akers is still going to be out this week, so it's going to be down to Darrell Henderson Jr. and Malcolm Brown. And the Rams are one of those weird teams where they either throw the ball the entire game or run it the entire game. So this, I think, is going to be a huge running game for the Rams. I think that they are. I hope they're able to pull it out. I need him to be able to pull it out, but I don't have that much confidence in the Cardinals rushing defense because did you see what Jeff Wilson Jr. did to them? Over 200 all-purpose yards. I think the Rams can run all over them. They have a good O-line. They've got good running backs and a great defense. Like you've said, they've only gotten better. And yeah, they've dropped 2 games. That's very demoralizing, especially when you lose to a division rival in Seattle and the New York Jets. That was a mess that never should have happened to them in the first place. But I do think that if they keep it on the ground, they give it to Henderson, I think they're going to be able to get the win. I think that they will be able to pull it out.
Yeah, and like you said, they either run the ball the whole game or they throw the ball the whole game. Like you said, I think it's going to be basically the whole game is running. And I think one of the things I've seen is the Rams really win more, I think, actually, when they do run it sometimes because they take over the time of possession.
Yep.
They don't let the other quarterback have the ball. And then there's Kyler Murray, who's been having recent struggles.
Yeah, that's true.
DeAndre Hopkins is only averaging like 6 yards a reception. And against the Rams, that's not going to be good enough. And honestly, with the Rams, the only way you're going to be able to throw on them well is with the deep ball with a guy like DK Metcalf or something like that. I don't see the Cardinals winning this. Like I said, I think this is Rams win into the playoffs.
All right. Well, you heard it here first.
Probably good news for a Bears fan.
You heard it everywhere else and also here because we're all talking about the wild card, about the NFL and the state of the playoffs. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to leave in the comments what you guys think about the NFL playoffs and what's going to happen. Be sure to check out our Allied Rivals shorts, quick 5-minute opinionated videos on various sports questions. We've got a lot of them on the main page. And also be sure to go ahead and check out. We're going to check us out, subscribe and everything. Y'all have been on YouTube. Don't need to tell you that. Y'all already know how it works. We've got a lot of stuff planned in the works. There's a MLB stuff that's gone down. The NBA is getting back in it. We had a request for an NHL preseason video. And on top of that, we still have the national championship to cover. There are going to be a lot of sports to talk about. And trust me, you don't want to miss any of it. Caden, we haven't pulled something out of our background in a while. Why don't you start us off?
Yeah. All right. Well, I got this Green Bay Packers shield type thing. It's pretty cool. It's licensed by the Green Bay Packers, which makes it even better.
Very nice.
Go Packers. Gonna whoop.
Well, I didn't even take him out of that. He took him out of himself. I guess we'll never know what Caben was going to finish his sentence with. So, for me, I'm not going to go with sports thing today. I'll pull out this that I got for Christmas. I love this Black Widow suit so much, man. Was Marvel's Avengers a glitchy mess when it came out? Yeah. Is it what I had hoped for it to be? Not quite. But I still love this Black Widow suit. It was one of my favorite redesigns from the entire game that they gave her. And yeah, as you can see behind me, I'm a Funko Pop nerd. So I was very happy to receive that for Christmas. From I think it was one of my cousins that gave that one to me. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning into Allied Rivals Podcast. Be sure to check it out, check us out, subscribe, like, comment. You know how it works. Caben, you got a verse.
Proverbs 1:7. It's a new one. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and destruction. So I think. Oops, and instruction.
There we go.
What did I say?
Destruction.
Whoops. Well, we'll pretend that didn't happen. Yeah. So the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. I think really the fear of the Lord, so obeying the Lord, is really how salvation starts, or salvation. And if you're foolish, then that means you kind of ignore that and ignore what the Lord tells you in the Bible. And there's a lot of other proverbs that talk about similar things to this. So yeah, Proverbs 1:7.
There you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out the rest of our episodes. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, whether you're having a morning, noon, or night, wherever you're watching this, however you're watching this. Even though if it's not through YouTube, I'm not sure, but whatever's going on, I hope you are having a good day, night, morning, etc. I need to end the video because I am rambling at this point. We'll see you guys next